Alright, welcome to round 12 of the FRL Division 2 Championship. Here we are at the Circuit of the Americas in the USA for what is going to be an exciting race. Zeech took a fantastic pole position, a couple tenths up on the nearest driver, Yeti, but he's got Radioactive and Zeech's own teammate Alan not too far behind. No Limit would have been where Alan is. Unfortunately, during qualifying, he finished qualifying and it was perfectly fine, but while his AI was under that kind of finished part, under the checkered flag. His AI blocked another driver, and he got a penalty for it, which is entirely undeserved. Because, I mean, again, he already finished, and it was just his AI doing that. But the game did it anyways, so No Limit is down a few spots where he should actually be, and that's unfortunate for him. But this game is just evil sometimes. But anyways, while we're here, let's take a look at the tire strategy. Medium tire runners, for the most part, with some hard runners being Zeech, the two Alfa Romeos of Rogue and Cheese, as well as DK, Atmos, and the two drivers at the back, Wonder Toast and Phil Mustard. But we also have two soft runners being Sancho and Sebi, the two going for pretty aggressive strategies and probably banking on an early safety car. Now, of course, the real question is, how many drivers are there going to be going side by side into turn one? And I'm going to ask that question to Marcus, who's going to be joining me in the commentary box. So, how wide do you expect it to be? 3, 4, 5, 6 wide?
I think I'm expecting it to at least be 3 at minimum, but probably 4 if somebody dives on that inner lane.
Yeah, that is absolutely possible. That run up to turn one is quite terrifying, though typically everybody files into place before the S section in sector one, which is always for the best because the last thing you want to do is go side by side through there. But we
Yeah.
have almost everybody lined up now. Looks like we're just waiting on Sancho to get in place, and we'll be getting underway in shortly.
Yeah, I'm still trying to join, so I'm a mute until I'm in.
Yep, and 5 lights are coming on here at the Circuit of the Americas. And wow, 3 drive-through penalties for a jump start for Curly, DK, and FaZe. We're getting underway, and that's already a pile-up back there. Several cars taken out, and 4 wide into turn 1 in the second row. And already we have Zeech and Yeti side by side, and I think they're about to do it through the S section too. Neither driver backing down going to the section, but Zeech eventually is forced to back out and is now stuck in second. But we already have a massive pile up further back, and Kermit is out of the race already. Well, that is unfortunate. No Limit gets ahead of Wonder Toast up into 15th after getting caught in that strange pile-up. Kirito is up to 3rd with his teammate Atmos not too far behind. Meanwhile, we have Vaney up to 12th place. He's struggling in qualifying, but is doing much better in the race thus far. Meanwhile, Kirito is making a dive on the outside of Zeech, looking to make a move for second place. They bang wheels for a moment, but Zeech keeps his position. At the same time, No Limit and Rogue are going wheel to wheel. No Limit completes the move to take 13th. But we do have drivers with damage. Sancho has entirely lost his front wing, making that self-tire strategy utterly pointless. And further up, looks like we have a lot of drivers going wheel to wheel here. That's a Williams into the wall, and Faceburger is going to be suffering heavily for that. Yeah, he's going to have to go into the pits as well. We can already see plenty of drivers making their way into the pits. I'm kind of surprised the pile-up didn't trigger at least a VSC or something. But anyways, we are continuing on underway. I can only imagine the disappointment Kermit has just being taken out immediately. Meanwhile, we have Radioactive doing his best to close the gap to Kirito and Zeech, but he's currently having a bit of an issue, it looks like. Actually, I thought he may have had damage, but no, his car appears to be fine, and he's closing the gap even better to Kirito now. We had a lot of drivers with a whole lot of time due to that pileup that happened pretty early on. And No Limit gets ahead, and he's now up into 9th, really trying his best to make up for lost time. Vaney is going to try to fight it back here. You can see he's trying to find an opening. Outside or inside, he's going to choose the outside. He's probably going to make a dive for it. Going into the next turn, he bangs wheels with the McLaren, but doesn't get ahead.
Alright, I've now loaded into the lobby finally. I can see.
Yeah, the run up was chaos. I mean, again, like there was a pile up
Yeah,
even down the
back,
straight.
crash on the back, hermit DNF, and then like just more side by side stuff.
And just complete and utter chaos thus far.
Mm.
At the moment, Kirito is getting stuck behind Zeech. Zeech is losing a lot of time because he's on the older hard tires compared to Yeti's medium tires, and that's going to be a good tire advantage and allow Yeti to pull a solid gap. And I think that is Phil who was spun out. Oh, and I see why. He's completely lost his front wing. He's going to have to make
That
his way
is.
into the pits.
Yeah, it's funny because I know people like to kind of divvy up the strategy. Some people like going hard, soft, soft, hard, medium, or medium, hard. So getting damaged this early on, you either need to play the catch-up game or wait for a SC.
I mean, at this point, for those drivers towards the back, their only choice is to hope for an SC.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, there is nothing left for them. They are way too far behind. But someone who isn't far behind much longer is Sebi, who gets ahead of DK and is now chasing towards 6th place. Kirito gets ahead of Zeech to take second with Radioactive not too far behind. But Kirito goes a bit wide, could be vulnerable to Zeech after that. Zeech is going to dive on the inside, the two collide, but managed to keep it going. Zeech is going to look for any chance he can to get back at Kirito, and he's going to have a good opportunity going on the start of the next lap where he's going to get DRS of his own.
We got a big train behind Big Cheese as well. We got Seb right behind him, and then we got DK. There's like 2 packs of 3 going on right now.
Here we go in the next lap. Zeech is not getting the run he necessarily would have wanted, and he's not going to be able to attempt a move here, but Radioactive was certainly considering one on the Mercedes driver, but thought better of it.
Steve's sending it on Big Cheese.
And using that soft tire to his advantage, he's going to be able to pull this move off. But Cheese is still trying to fight it back here, but has to back out going into the S's. Semi's now up to 5th. Meanwhile, looks like Kirito had to fight Zeech for a moment. Zeech is really giving him a run for his money right now. But Kirito manages to remain ahead. But considering how close Zeech is behind, he's going to have a very good opportunity to overtake on this next straight. DRS is going to give him a massive hand. And well, Radioactive could get in on this action as well.
Yeah, it looks like Yeti is almost on an island of his own, and he's probably in a very good position because those 3 behind him are just going to be fighting each other constantly and wasting their tires.
Speaking of, the two are going wheel to wheel now. Zeech puts himself ahead momentarily, but Kirito, the advantage on the inside line, manages to take it back, but Zeech does the switcheroo on him. He can't find a way through on the outside, though. Is going to attempt another switcheroo, but just can't get the traction on the hards. Meanwhile, Radioactive is kind of stuck behind, watching on. He can't really get in on the fight. I think he's just going to have to wait for a chance for one of them to make a mistake.
There's a Williams off track there.
Yeah, and I think that was Sancho off the track. Phil has gotten a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
Steve is spun. Oh no.
Yellow flag at center 2. I can't tell what really caused it. It was a very brief flag.
I think both the Red Bulls and Sancho are kind of just spinning out occasionally on the tires because they're completely shot.
Yeah, Emma spun out as well in that penultimate corner. A lot of drivers spin out there. On the bright side, if you do break your front wing, the pit lane is right there. So it's a quick way in, but still, I mean, it would be preferable if you don't spin out there at all.
Yeah, I noticed in my in our race that I had a yellow wing for a while and it was manageable. I wasn't gaining any ground on anyone else, but I could still make it around the track. But as soon as I had orange, it's just undrivable in Sector 3 specifically.
Yeah, and I bet quite a few people got damage after the incidents that happened lap 1.
Line speed here. He's past DK already and might get Big Cheese as well.
Oh, he very well could, and I think he will. He's already soaring past the Alfa Romeo, putting himself ahead into 5th. Allen is driving very strongly, and at the moment, I think it could hand Mercedes a very good result.
Yeah, he drove very good in Division 3, although he didn't have to deal with some of the problems that others had. He still is extremely fast the whole race.
Yeah, and he's already closing the gap little by little to those cars in front of him. But these 3 drivers are really duking it out for 2nd place. Kirito is still defending very well, but it's only a matter of time before those mediums start to die out, and Zeech is going to gain an advantage. And Zeech breaks very late, nearly into the back of Kirito, but reacts well and keeps himself behind. Meanwhile, Allen is having to defend from Big Cheese in a pretty similar situation that Kirito is in right now. But he's got a significantly longer train behind him with DK, No Limit, and Fred behind.
Zeech is trying every corner to just get right around. Oh, Kirito, he went wide there.
And that's cost him speed, and it could very well cost him 2nd place going into this next straight. He's got the Mercedes right behind him, and I think Zeech has finally got the run he's looking for. Look at the speed he's got. He's already going to be able to get alongside, and he's put himself fully ahead by the end of turn 12. Oh, but I think Kirito might try to fight it back here, but he simply can't. He's going to have to remain behind.
Oh. Well, Steve has just spun out again. Yeah, it's almost like when you spin, you have to pit them because they're just so shot.
Yeah, the 2 McLarens briefly duked it out with No Limit getting ahead of his teammate up into 7th, and is now on the hunt after Big Cheese, but Big Cheese just goes a little bit wide there, and No Limit's going to be able to get alongside. Looking around the outside, can he get ahead of the Alfa Romeo? Faith Berger has retired in the pits as No Limit is continuing this, looking for a chance around the outside. Can he put himself ahead? No, he can't. He's going to have to remain behind, but he's going to get a fantastic run. Bumps into the Alfa Romeo for a short moment, but now he's going to have a very nice run down the pit straight. Getting a hold of DRS as well. He's going to get a run. He's going to probably go on the inside here. Yep. Taking that inside line. He's going to dive for it into turn 1. The 2 nearly coming together, but leaving each other just enough space. No Limit, though. Just can't find a way past Big Cheese. He's going to have to back out.
The front pack is already almost slapping Sancho and coming up to Curly too in a second. Oh, Phil retired. Phil is just he's just crashed.
Yep, and that's going to trigger a safety car. Did he crash down the
main straight? I believe. I think he nabbed her, and then he went to the right. I wasn't expecting him, but that's my guess.
Yeah, that's a strange place to crash, but that is going to be a full safety car. Now, it is possible to go to the pits now and make it to the end on a set of hard tires. It would be a bit of a risky move, but it is definitely doable. But the question is, who is going to take that risk? Now, for Rogue, I mean, he's on soft tires. This is obviously the perfect time to go in. But for those who lost a ton of time, this is a chance to make it back up and get back in the fight for a victory.
I think the people in the best position here, judging by how long tires lasted in our race, I think the people on hards right now, they could do a medium and then a soft to round out this, and the softs are just so much faster than the hards. It's honestly worth it to go with that sort of strategy, especially if you have another safety car coming up. And Curly's retired in the pits, I believe.
Yeah, this has already been a disaster of a race for Red Bull. Both drivers out. Barely a quarter of the race through, and they're both done. Kermit, I mean, he didn't even last that long. Barely made it several turns before he was out. And I imagine he is displeased about how that happened.
Yeah. I'm shocked a little bit. A lot of people pitting for fresh hards, and then you have Big Cheese on fresh sauce.
It's an aggressive strategy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's banking on a safety car to occur in the next few laps. If that game does pay off, he's going to be in a very good spot. Taking a pretty more significant risk is Fred, though, choosing to stay out on his medium tires. I think it would have been a better idea to maybe go in for hard. Zeech and DK choosing to stay out, I don't blame them for that decision. I mean, because again, if there's a safety car a few laps later, they could go on mediums to finish it out on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder what Fred's thinking, or maybe he just thinks that hmm, he might pit this time by, realizing that he has 7 laps on mediums. That's got to at least be like 35%. I don't know if he's gonna have any. He's not gonna have any speed against even the fresh hards, I don't think.
I think Chiefs is going for a really aggressive strat here, but it was paying off well for Zip in the Alfa Romeo yesterday until, well, an incident occurred. And by incident, I mean massive pileup. But, I mean, as long as he doesn't cause a massive pileup, I think he'll be in a pretty good spot. Now, we're not going to be getting back underway just yet. We're probably going to have another lap before we get back underway, so we'll be resuming on about lap 10.
Yeah, Fred's heading in now.
Yeah, he may have gotten a little bit too far ahead before he had a chance to pit. Either that, or he just changed his mind and thought, you know what, let's go in now for a set of hard tires, or go for a more aggressive soft tire strat.
He could even take it as far as, I don't want to be in the massive 8-car wide turn 1 on the restart.
I
And
mean,
just kind of sit at the back.
I mean, if that's the strat, I don't blame him, because, I mean, again, that run of turn 1, I mean, one day, I want to take all the F1 tracks and put into a tier list how terrifying turn 1 is. Eventually, I'm going to put that together, and I'm going to be like, here's the graph of how scary turn 1 is. Now,
I think Monza and Baku are at the
Oh,
top.
Monza's definite S tier in that regard. Baku I'd probably put in A tier. Now, putting it at the bottom is going to be Imola. And Imola's going to be at the very bottom, because turn 1 is technically that very slight right-hander. So, yeah, if we're going by the true turn 1, then nothing will happen there. Unless you completely veer off course into another car. In which case, I don't know what you're doing. But, as for other turns, I'd put the Circuit of the Americas in A tier, probably. At minimum, B tier. Thinking of other tracks, Brazil, I'd probably put that in C tier simply because it's not turn 1 where everything happens, it's turn 2.
Yeah. And I'd say Canada's isn't bad either, but where it gets bad is
turn 3.
But yeah.
Yep.
That's it coming in this lap now.
Yeah, we're going to get back underway. Now, Zeech is going to be leading them off with DK behind. The two will have a brief advantage, but will quickly lose the digits of the tire where they have. But Cheese and Wonder Tones are going to have a massive advantage compared to the next few cars ahead of them. And so, if they want this strat to pay off, they need to play a very aggressive start.
Yeah, I noticed something weird. You can kind of get going and not be limited by the speed here, like 2 turns from the start line. So I wonder if Zeech is gonna exploit that. It looks like he isn't. He's just kind of slowing it down.
Yeah, he's taking his time looking for a chance to properly catch them off guard, but looks like everybody's keeping up pretty well, but he needs to get going now. Yep, that was a pretty last-minute run, and Radioactive is already taking advantage, looking to get alongside Yeti, and up into 3rd place. Going to turn 1, he dives very deep and manages to complete the move. Meanwhile, oh yeah, there is a bit of contact. She is stuck behind, but there's a whole procession further behind. Vanny gets a step of oversteer or something there. I think he may have gotten on the grass even a little bit. And that must have gotten a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But already, the field is keeping pretty close. But James is stuck in a pretty awkward position. Just can't find a way past anybody just yet. But he's going to get himself an opening probably in Sector 3.
I
Oh,
think he might.
uh,
He's looking to get Allen right now, and maybe even no limit on the straight.
yeah, that was a bit of a send to say the least, but Allen's sending it on no limit right now. The two going side by side, going to the next turn. Who will come out ahead between the two? It looks like no limit just managed to gain a bit more speed here, but Allen is still trying to fight it, but he can't any longer. Sheets is watching on, looking to get in on the action himself. And I think he's going to go for an opportunity here on the inside. Now he's going to have the outside line, but Allen cuts him off. Sheets is probably going to look for another chance here, and I think he's got the traction to do so. But at the moment, he's going to remain behind.
Radioactive's right on the rear of Yeti. I noticed he pretty much stayed right within feet of contact through pretty much that entire section. He gained a little bit of space now, but I don't know. I think he's trying to distance himself from the pack of 5 cars behind him at all costs.
And Fred has gotten a time penalty, and that is really going to hurt him going towards the end. Meanwhile, we do have another battle up front. No Limit trying to take the fight to Kirito, but can't find a way through just yet.
I'm noticing Zeech and DK are hanging on okay on these tires. I don't know if it's with people fighting behind them or if it's just a matter of those tires aren't as worn as we thought that they
Well,
might be.
I think they are worn. I didn't think the difference would be too significant. And while the regular mediums would take, well, regular hard tires, the ones that aren't completely worn yet, they're going to take a little bit of time to get going proper. But you can see it's starting to forget. Oh, what happened back
Big
there?
spin out from Allen.
Well, all that work that he was trying to put in has now been basically made for nothing. And he's now stuck in the back of the field. But that's going to give Big Cheese a wonderful opportunity to take the fight to those cars in front of him.
Yeah, I don't know if contact was made there, but I noticed he was just off track to the right of the straight. So, I don't know. Maybe he locked up, honestly.
Meanwhile, Wonder Toast overtaking his teammate, and looks like Stevie and Atmos are going middle wheel as well. And Stevie gets ahead.
They made a little bit of wheel bounce on that turn. Big Cheese is spun.
Yeah, and all that work he was trying to put in has been made for nothing, unfortunately. That penultimate turn really catches out a whole lot of people. Turn 19 seems to be a nightmare for a lot of them here.
Yeah, I wonder why that is, because the tricky turn to me was the super fast looping right-hander that you get to actually before that turn.
Oh yeah, turns 16, 17, and 18.
Yes.
Yeah, that's technically, like, I would consider it all one big right-hander, but it's regarded as separate turns.
Yeah, I could feel the traction when I was turning through there. I was like, oh, it's really wanting to go out on me.
Oh, and Radioactive
no!
punts into the back of Yeti there, looked like. And that's going to be a lot of time lost for Yeti and probably a penalty applied to Radioactive later. Fred is looking to overtake Radioactive himself, going on the inside. It's going to the dial no limit as well. He considered it for a moment, but is going to settle for overtaking the AlphaTauri.
Yeti's trying to defend now. He merged actually very well. That straight gives you a lot of room to merge, and he was actually able to come over and not let anyone else pass him.
Oh, and I think Alan may have spun again. Yep, he's onto the grass now. All that pace that he was showing is now just faded. At the same time, that is the Ferrari of Atmos heavily slowing down. I don't know what happened to him there, but he's completely backed off.
Does he have damage? I mean, it looks like he's having to slow down quite a bit. Yeah, he's...
I'm honestly not sure. Meanwhile, further up, we have Kirito trying to catch up to DK, but he's got DK's teammate No Limit stuck behind. He's stuck in a papaya sandwich right now, and he's probably not too comfortable about that. But...
Oh, Rogue has just been... Oh, their tires touched. He touched tires with Vaney, and then he pretty much oversteered and almost spun, but he recovered it.
And already, he's quickly gaining back on them, and he's going to be looking to make up for lost time. Atmos, though, is going to be tuning in on this fight. He's showing a whole lot of pace, but Rogue is gaining.
Kirito's got DRS on DK now, so he should pretty much fly past him. Because he
And
has those birds.
yeah, but he very much has. He's put himself ahead, no limit, meanwhile catching up to his teammate. Now the question is, will they play team orders, or will they be allowed to fight it out?
I think I remember this happening in Monza 2 between the two. It was either Monza or the race before. And the one was on older tires, and they just entirely kind of let them through, try to help, like, hold up the people behind to break the DRS train. So I see that happening again, honestly.
Fred is showing a lot of pace, wanting to get in on this action with Radioactive right behind as well. And he gets another time penalty tacked onto him, just really struggling right now in terms of track limits. It's easy to rack up track limit warnings in Sector 1.
Oh, yeah, you go 2 tires over any of those, like, candy cane curves, there's immediately a warning. And if you go much further, then it's a whole 3-second penalty.
Is it bad that in all my time of F1, I never really viewed it as a candy cane design?
I always thought of it as that because it's just red, white, and a lot of other places use red, white. I don't think the ones in Miami are, which is very interesting because they usually go by the color of the country that they're in.
Eh,
Oh, somebody's crashed at the. Is that Sancho in the back? That's fun. It is.
yep. Meanwhile, we have the two McLarens getting ready to go at it, but No Limit just easily overtakes his teammate and gets ahead. Now, is DK going to fight him out, or is he going to remain behind? He chooses to remain behind. Now, is DK going to maybe try and hold up the two cars behind and give No Limit a better shot?
I think he will because, well, even then, Prid's got a time. Prid's going really deep. Oh my goodness. Wow. That could have ended horribly. Yeah, DK is already about 8/10 behind, so I believe he is trying to maybe not max throttle the whole time and get some distance between him and the others.
Yeah, but gaining distance on him right now is Fred looking on the outside going into turn one. It's going to be
Yeti's DNF.
incredibly close.
Yeti's
And
crashed.
sorry about that. My phone went off for no reason there.
I heard that. I heard the.
Yeah, give me just a moment.
So it looks like Yeti's crashed out on the home straight. I don't know if he had oversteer or if he was planning on pitting. No, it looks like it was on the home straight and he just had oversteer or he collided with somebody. DK did hold his lead over Prid. That was very close because Prid passed him right as the SD came out. But I guess the moment it did come out, he was slightly ahead. So he's going to hold that position. I think Zeech and DK mandatory have to put here. Absolutely. Atmos will as well. Wonder Toast is too. He's got 7 laps on softs. I think he was one of the ones that had spun out earlier and he was just trying to get some traction back. Big Cheese is going on mediums, probably thinking they'll last the whole race or doing a medium to soft sort of catch-up strategy.
And I'm back. Sorry about that.
Oh, that.
Yeah. To everybody watching, I completely apologize for that. But yeah. Anyways, looks like Zeech and DK are finally making their way into the pits, but they're going to lose a whole lot of time for that. Oh, actually, no, they're not. Safety car's in their way. What happened? Yeti's out.
Yeah, Yeti was the one that crashed that initiated the safety car. There was somebody else who spun, so I thought it was them, but the DNF was Yeti, so he had to be the one that caused it.
Yeah, and
I said that all these people that were on the really old hards, they have to pit. Atmos hasn't yet. I'm not sure why.
yeah, I have I have no idea why he chose to stay on, unless he was too far ahead at that point. I mean, I don't know. If he doesn't pit, I'd say he's probably out of his mind because, I mean, this is as
Yeah.
good of a time as any to go into the pits for a fresh set of mediums, and that will make it to the end no problem whatsoever. I mean, like, Deej, DK, and Rogue are in a pretty decent position, but at the moment, I think the battle for the win is going to be between the top five, really. But Pred is certainly going to be impacted by the penalty as well as Sebi, so it only all depends on how it plays out.
I don't know. I'm thinking. I don't know the exact amount of laps that mediums usually last, but 8 laps is the majority of what everyone has in the top 6 right now. So I think they're gonna have either major wear or they're gonna have to go on softs by the end of the race if another SC doesn't happen.
And well, another SC could easily happen, and I would not be too surprised.
Yeah.
Big Cheese gets a time penalty while under safety car.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's gonna be kicking himself for that one.
It was the S. Yeah, it was the S section.
Yep,
That's where you get
it's
all the
so
points.
easy to go just a little bit too far, and it'll completely ruin you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's how I racked up 6 seconds of penalties in our race. Although, to be fair, I had damage, so I couldn't really control the car too well. Yeah, and then I also got in another collision, or rather, someone collided with me. And that completely ruined my race. Not naming any names. You thought I was going to say it, but no, I'm not going to say it. I'm
Yeah,
not going to call him out.
I was like, well, he's about 2 seconds away from saying the name.
No, but...
No, I had my own collisions. I had 3. So.
Yeah, you know who you are, and I'm just gonna let you know. I'm gonna absolutely send it and wreck the entire field next race. No, I'm playing. I wouldn't do that. It would be funny though.
It would be funny.
Yeah.
And inside Austria too, so it'd have to be T3.
Not T3. I could pull it off turn one, easy. I mean, remember how
Oh,
we?
there too. There too.
No, but seriously though, do not straight line people.
No.
We already saw how that turned out in Div 3 ourselves. Yeah, that person is in the league now. But yeah. Speaking of the turn one, we could go back to like the turn one tier list, I guess you could say. I mean, Austria, I would say it's a solid B tier, probably.
I think it's a lot less dangerous than Belgium because they're similar, but Belgium's downhill while Austria's uphill a little
Yeah,
bit.
I'd say Belgium is also about B tier.
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi, I'd say it's like C tier. Not a ton happens in turn one. It's
No.
really, honestly, nothing really happens too much in Abu Dhabi until you get to the chicane after that really long straight. That's where a lot of people get messed up.
Yeah, that's where most of it happens. And I noticed the different configuration on the track, and I was like, wow, this is. I mean, the track's was kind of in the midfield for me as far as favorites, but I think with the changes to the severe turns in Sector 1, it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, I legitimately think Abu Dhabi has become my favorite track to drive. And it's honestly one of my favorite tracks, period. I just love the atmosphere so much.
All right, here we go. I think Kirito.
Yep, we're going to be getting back underway. Kirito's going to lead him off with No Limit, Frid, Radioactive, and Sebi behind. It's a strong top five, but which one is going to take the top spot? We're going to get back underway, and Kirito makes a good getaway. Yep. Meanwhile, though, Zeech and DK are both trying to get in on this. Zeech is just weaving, trying to warm up his tires a little more. DK was thinking of perhaps taking advantage, but can't find a way through. And I think that's Wonder Toast, who's just overtaken by Alan. He's trying to fight it back here, but has to back out as he got on the curb very hard and nearly lost control of the car. You could see the car really slipping away there and had to save it before spinning out.
Atmos is trying to. You can't really get past anyone in that section, so he has to kind of stick behind him. He is faster now, but he's just trying to get around him. Pretty good restart though. Pretty clean, honestly. Nice single file. Oh, we got some IndyCar action going on the straight. We got a big weave train.
Yep, and now we have Zeech just getting alongside and ahead of Vaney up into 6th place. The medium tire is proving to be very valuable. The soft for Allen is proving to be valuable as well, but does he really think he can make it to the end on this set of tires? I don't think the softs are going to last that long. He's probably going to have to pit again.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he has mediums left because I think he used hards. He had all those spin outs and then he went on softs, and now he's on softs again. So he still has a medium pair.
I mean, if he
Which would,
did have a medium set, I mean, why wouldn't he have used it? That would have been a golden opportunity. Zeech is just really making use of these mediums. Allen gets the fastest lap of the race while Sebi is just weaving, trying to break the toe. But Zeech is going to go for a dive perhaps. So no, he just can't get close enough to make that move just yet. We have 3 wide. I really hope they aren't going to attempt to go side by side. That's Vaney just completely backing out there. No, DK trying to get alongside for a moment, but backs out as well.
yeah, I think Vaney got a little bit of a push and had a oversteer and had to recover it, and that's why all 4 cars bundled up there.
Yeah, and
I
he's
don't think.
got DK right behind, really giving him a hard time. These drivers are just racing really close, and it looks like Sancho had a bit of struggle. Big Cheese as well.
Oh, there's contact between Steve and Zeech. He's kind of pushed him wide a little bit.
Now Stubby's going to look on the inside. He's really trying to put himself ahead. And the two, did they bang into each other again?
I believe so.
I mean, all the time you have to leave a space, but apparently those two never heard that message before as they collide again.
Oh, they hit again.
And that's Allen now looking around his teammate, perhaps looking to make a move past him. These two are racing really rough between one another.
Yeah, the one on, I don't know which car was on the outside, because I was watching through Allen, but the outside car came over on the inner car.
I mean, to be fair, Zeech was diving way too hard in a turn that he simply was not going to make, really. I mean, like, he was too far behind to attempt that. Like, if the stewards analyzed that, Zeech would be held at fault. Simply because he wasn't alongside enough into that corner. And while the reason why Zeech is making moves like this is simple, he's desperate. He knows he can potentially win, but if he is going to, he needs to make moves now. Otherwise, well, he can say goodbye to that win as the medium tires just fade away.
Atmos towards the back, he's spun out, and I think he's collided with the wall. Does he have any wing damage?
And Zeech just bumps into the back of Sebi. Sebi nearly loses it, but manages to save the car. And Allen just completely puns Sebi off the track.
Smashing.
Yeah, that was just completely dirty there. Allen just completely smashed him off.
And Allen still gets DRS from that, too.
And yeah, Sebi is definitely not going to be pleased about that one. I hope we don't see an act of retaliation here in a moment. And, well, he doesn't do that, but he's still trying to overtake DK here. And now Allen's playing defense here. Is he really just... I think he's trying to hold everybody back now.
I think he's trying to kind of give Zeech the
He bashes into DK as well. Yeah, Allen is just racing like a maniac at this point.
DK's around him though, so I think he's good.
I don't know about that just yet. Allen is just racing really rough. At this point, he has to be colliding with drivers intentionally.
And this brings up a good point. If you see a driver, because we had one of these in our race, if you see a driver being completely just reckless, really the only things you can do is hang around, hope for them to have a pit stop, or you can give them a little love tap yourself and politely move them out of the way.
Yeah, I would not recommend that. I mean, retaliation is not necessarily a good thing. Allen's really going side by side. It has contact with DK, but gets ahead.
Oh no! Rogue has been completely cut off by Vaney. He's been sent into the wall.
Yeah, you can see Allen really planting the car, just holding them up. And Sebi's not having a time penalty. Yep.
He's completely slowed in that corner, I guess trying to get DRS.
Oh!
DK's been tapped on the back by Siege.
Yeah, he just completely did that. I have a bad feeling of what I'm going to see next. Sebi's just getting real close. Is he considering making a move? Oh, wow, he just completely gets ahead of him. But now Allen is looking to make the move back, and he gets ahead, but
But
just force
why?
it. Yeah, he practically forced Sebi off the track there.
I don't know, but if I'm Fred in the back here, I'm just like,
Allen just
okay, y'all can
completely
take your penalty
bashes
stuff.
into Sebi again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just out of his
Fred's got
mind at
some
this
free
point.
spots here. He's technically in sixth because those two are definitely getting penalties each handed out to them, I believe.
And I would say at this point, Sebi's he's trying to race clean here, but
He is,
Allen
yeah.
Allen is just driving like a madman, just completely bashing into Sebi, just trying to buy his teammate more time. It's basically starting to turn into Crashgate with how bad it is. Look at
Yeah.
he's just completely going to the side of him again.
Yeah, he is. He's now raised that gap to almost 7 seconds. I mean, at this point, there's no point in holding them up. They're so far back. So he's just being reckless with it.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and this is honestly uncalled for. And I bet swift action is going to be taken regarding this.
Hey, if you remember, he was the Aston Martin in our race, and we know what happened to the other Aston
That is true.
Martin. That's very true. Zeech gets around Prid.
Yep, now he's up
Kind of.
into fourth.
Yeah. He's up in fourth now.
Yeah, I think he can
Zeech,
very well win this. He's got plenty of pace still in these medium tires, and only 3 cars are between him and victory.
contact again between the two.
Yeah, Allen once again, like, barely leaving the Haas driver enough space. He bumps into him again. Yeah, Allen is absolutely doing this on purpose.
Yeah. I think he's well because Zeech didn't have any competition. He's basically had nothing like holding him back, not having to take any different line, and
Yeah,
he's got all the speed over the top three.
yeah, I'm impressed by the patience Sebi has. I mean, like, you know, many others in his position at this point would have just completely smashed him off the track out of sheer frustration. But Sebi's still trying to do this fairly, and props to him for that. Now going into turn one, yeah, Allen, he doesn't leave him any space whatsoever. Just
No, not
completely
a,
spins him out. Yeah, Allen is gonna be called out to the stewards, and well, the stewards are gonna have many words for him, and none of them are gonna be very nice.
no. What has happened there? Oh no!
Yep, Wonder
I think
Toes. Yeah, I think Wonder Toes spun out.
Atmos, I believe he retired in the pits because I didn't see him crash out on track unless we completely missed that. I know he spun earlier and I think had damage because he was against a wall. So I think he just retired in the pits. DK's past Big Cheese now. He's coming up to Seb.
Yeah, meanwhile, Deej is doing everything he can to try and overtake Radioactive. He's looking for any opening he can possibly get, but can't find a way through just yet.
That's an interesting line on the home straight. It
He's
seems
going
to be.
for. He was attempting a dive there, but he
He
simply
thought
didn't make
about
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely was considering making a move like that, and that would have been honestly pretty dangerous. Oh, and Big Cheese has now retired in the pits. That's unfortunate for him. He was doing solid up until that point, but he was just caught in some bad luck in situations.
Yeah, he spun once, and that's just the tires are. They really just give out on you.
They really do.
Grip levels have definitely in these crossplay lobbies. They've definitely been lower than before. Oh, Zeech is now approaching Radioactive.
Yep, he's going to go for a dive here. He's absolutely going to send it on the outside, going into the next turn. He makes contact with Radioactive, but can't find a way through.
Shoving him off track, and then he gets past him. Okay. Interesting. I mean, they were touching tires for a solid probably 3 seconds there.
Yeah, at this point, Radioactive is essentially becoming a wall, and Zeech is not too pleased about it, because the more this goes on, the more Zeech's hope for victory is just slipping away, and the more Kirito's win is getting cemented here, especially now that Frid is starting to catch up and could join in on this. Oh, and Frid very much will. Getting really close here. What is Frid doing? Oh no, we're about to have 3 wide into turn 1. Frid just goes in between the both of them. He completely takes out Zeech. What was that? Frid drove like they weren't even there.
I think there's a lobby desync.
Probably, and I'm thinking you are exactly correct on that.
Prid is approaching Radioactive now on my screen, and Zeech is Radioactive's 4 seconds behind Zeech. So
Yeah,
I think we have a lobby desync here.
and that's probably because Big Cheese, who was the lobby host, disconnected.
Oh,
So, yeah.
left.
Yeah,
Oh no.
yeah, he left, and so the host is connecting. Has probably just completely ruined the lobby.
Yeah. Right now I have Kirito, No Limit, Zeech, Prid, Radioactive, Allen, Fred, Vaney.
Okay, I have Kirito, Element, Fred, Zeech, Radioactive in top 5.
Okay. So it's similar except for the two of them. Prid right now is 4 seconds behind Zeech for me.
For me, he's 5 seconds ahead. Well, almost 5 seconds ahead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Radioactive is in your alternate universe because he is extremely slowing down. He's lost 3 seconds in one lap to Frid, and they're on the same tires. Unless he has major damage, but no, he has his wing and everything. Well, I'm gonna get a picture of my results. You get a picture of yours.
And, well, Alan just completely bashes into the side of Radioactive. Radioactive is now stuck. Alan just hasn't caught by the tire. And Alan smashes into his teammate and is now up ahead in the 4th. Yeah, this game is completely busted. The lobbies have split in half.
Zeech just spun on mine, and now he's just back on the track. I think I kind of have like half of the drivers in my lobby, and you have the other half.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna check it on this. Give me a second.
Prid is gaining a lot of speed. Yeah, check that because I can't. I kind of wish I turned my POV stream on now because I'd be able to at least show what happened. They're gonna have to run a 5-lapper or something after this because I mean, the order has completely changed. Prid is now in 3rd. Zeech is not completely far off of Prid, but he's lost 2 seconds to him. Radioactive's lost 4 seconds to Prid, who he was in front of just about a lap and a half ago. Allen's completely slowed down, so I'm guessing Allen is in your game, Radioactive's in your game. Fred is about staying with Allen. So I don't know if he's in mine or yours.
I do not think Radioactive is in mine. Yeah,
Steve is in yours because he's 6 seconds behind Wonder Toast, who he was about 4 seconds ahead of before.
Oh, that's Alan making his way into the pits now. Wait, why is he going in on the penultimate lap? Unless he's planning to go for fastest lap.
He's pitting on my screen too.
Yeah, he must be going for fastest lap. That's the only thing I could possibly suspect. But I mean, if he made it that far, why not try to go one more lap and get more points out of it?
Yeah, he's down into
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. After all the incidents that he caused, I think he could very well get disqualified, anyways.
Yeah, he's down in 11th now for me.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I got Kirito, Limit, Frid, Zeech, Radioactive, Fred, Vaney, DK.
Yeah, I do not have that on. Zeech is in 6th right now, stuck behind Radioactive.
Yeah. So I think Zeech is in mine. I think Prid's in mine. No Limit and Kirito have gone completely off track. I think they're both in mine as well.
They're the same thing happened to me as well. The two are racing really close on the penultimate lap. It looks
So
like.
so it's almost like we both have certain drivers, and then I have some and you have others.
This,
Because Radioactive's definitely not.
yeah, this
He's
lobby
9
is
seconds
ruined.
behind Z.
this
Yeah.
this lobby is just completely and utterly ruined at this point. But I think we may have one more battle between Kirito and No Limit for victory. But at the moment, No Limit managed to overtake Kirito. So who will come out on top by the end of this lap to claim victory? At the moment, No Limit is holding a pretty good advantage. But we still have that long back straight, which could be an important factor.
Yeah, Steve is not in my game because Alan's already passed him and is 2 seconds ahead.
Oh, he's like that on my end, too.
Oh, really?
Well,
Oh.
yeah, I mean, Sebi's on 21 lap old hard tires while Alan is on fresh soft, so
Yeah.
that's to be expected.
I just figured they would have made contact again after earlier. Kirito, oh, I think he just got DRS. Yes, he did.
Yeah, but he's too far back for it to make a difference. Unless he does an insane dive bomb, there's no way he's going to get ahead. And, well, there's a reason why I'm calling that dive bomb insane, because it would end with him colliding. So, unfortunately for him, he's going to have to pass on victory today. Meanwhile, DK overtakes Fred to take fourth. But Fred could very well have a decent points finish here, but Radioactive and Wonder Toast are rapidly gaining here. Radioactive at this point is honestly getting pushed along by Wonder Toast. This is incredibly strange to see. Yeah, Wonder Toast is going into the bag of Radioactive practically, but puts himself ahead now.
Yeah, Radioactive's in fifth, so.
Yep. But despite that, crossing the line, No Limit crossing the line to take victory. Kirito is second. Radioactive, yep, it did fix. He's now third. Okay,
Yeah,
so it did
Radioactive's
fix.
third on mine. Yeah, he's gone up like 3 positions. Zeech, Prid, DK's about to pass the line. DK is completely in the back of the AI of Radioactive. Yeah, Radioactive's desynced on mine because he's an AI, and it showed DK like going through him in a way, not ghosting, but like going through him.
Yeah, that is certainly strange, and Alan does take fastest lap, but finishes 11th. I mean, I don't know why he pitted for that, because he could have gained a few points, but I mean, like I said, I think he's going to get disqualified anyways.
He could have been lagging pretty bad. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, but well, that was before Big Cheese left in a desync. I don't think it was internet. Yeah, I don't want to make the accusation, but like he collided so many times, like either Alan's connection is that bad, or he was doing it on purpose. I mean, from our perspective, it looks incredibly bad.
Sancho to me is just kind of smashing the wall, and
yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of that too. Yeah, he's stopping in front of the line, just taking his time. But that's going to be the end of a very chaotic race.
Chaotic week, really. Goodness.
Yeah.
So I wanna run by the and you might want to have it on your stream too. I want to run by the finishing order and see if we have the same thing. I had No Limit winning and Kirito in second. I think that's pretty solid. So I have No Limit, Kirito, Radioactive, Zeech, Prid, Seeb, Wonder Toast, DK, Fred, and Vaney. Alan's in 11th. That is the order I have. Very interesting point to note, Wonder Toast, who started 19th, is now finished in 7th.
Yeah, that was a very good comeback drive.
Yeah.
But speaking of good drives, Element had a fantastic result to take victory for McLaren. Kirito second, Radioactive third, rounding out the podium. Well, that was a race. That was a race of the season.
That was a race of all time.
Yeah, yes, yes, it was. But we can look forward to a race that's hopefully a little less chaotic next week as we go to Austria, the Red Bull Ring. We'll be seeing you all then. I've been Bog Mage, and I'll be seeing you all next time.
Bye.